Cruising is one of our favorite ways of travel. It offers relaxation and adventure in the open sea. But in that open sea lies a deep, dark secret. You see, far beneath that surface, there are too many people that have gone missing on cruise ships, never to be heard from again. Today, we're going to look at 5 cases in which this has happened and where these people have gone missing without a trace. The true question is, were these purely accidental? Or is there something more sinister at play? In the end, we're going to get your comments and get your thoughts below. But let's begin with our first case. The first case is of Kimberly Burtch, who had a mysterious fall from a cruise ship balcony. In March of 2025, 56-year-old Kimberly Burtch, a realtor and the fiancé of Faster Pussycat frontman Tommy Down, tragically fell overboard from Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas. The incident occurred on the first night of the 80s cruise, a week-long voyage featuring iconic acts like Squeeze, Adam Ant, and Tiffany. According to reports, Kimberly and Tommy had an argument before she fell from her 8th floor balcony approximately 80 miles from Miami. The cruise, which had just set sail from Florida, was bound for Nassau, San Juan, and Labadee, but for Kimberly, that journey was cut tragically short. Despite an extensive search, her body has not been recovered, leaving behind haunting questions. Was this a tragic accident, the result of a heated argument gone too far? Or is there more to the story that remains hidden beneath the waves? The next story is of Rebecca or Bex Coriam. In June 2011, 24-year-old Rebecca Bex Coriam vanished without a trace from the Disney Wonder while the ship was sailing off the coast of Mexico. Rebecca, a crew member on the vessel, was last seen making a phone call from the staff quarters, an interaction captured on CCTV. When Rebecca failed to report for her shift, the alarm was raised, but not immediately. Reports suggest it took over 4 hours for Disney to notify the U.S. Coast Guard and nearly 7 hours to contact the police. Despite estimates that Rebecca could have survived in the water for up to 14 hours, the Disney Wonder never turned back to search for her. Disney Cruise Line claims she was swept overboard by a freak wave, but her parents, Mike and Ann Coriam, have never accepted that explanation. They believe something far more sinister happened, possibly involving a love triangle or even sexual assault. The couple sued Disney Cruise Lines for negligence, arguing the company failed to provide adequate surveillance, overboard monitoring, or follow emergency protocols in a timely manner. More than a decade later, Rebecca's body has never been found, and her family continues to search for the truth. Was this a tragic accident, or is there a darker truth hidden beneath Disney's polished image? One thing remains clear. Rebecca Coriam's disappearance is one of the most chilling and controversial mysteries in modern cruising history. Next up is the case of 23-year-old Lynne Bradley, whose mysterious disappearance still haunts the seas. In March 1998, Lynne Bradley vanished while on a family cruise to the Caribbean while on board the Royal Caribbean Rhapsody of the Seas. What should have been a relaxing vacation became a chilling mystery that remains unsolved. The night before she disappeared, Amy was out partying with her brother Brad and members of the ship's band. At 3:40 a.m., she returned to their cabin. Her father last saw her asleep on the balcony around 5:30 a.m., but by 6 a.m. she was gone, and she has never been seen again. Next up is the case of 26-year-old George Smith IV, who in the summer of 2005 mysteriously disappeared during his honeymoon cruise aboard the Royal Caribbean ship Brilliance of the Seas. The incident took place just days after his wedding in June, during a cruise that attracted intense media attention due to the circumstances surrounding his disappearance. While on board, George and his wife Jennifer were reportedly social and partied during the first few days. On the night of July 5th, they went to the ship's casino, where George met Josh Askin and spent the night teaching him a dice game. Also present were cousins Zachary and Greg Rosenberg and their friend Rusty Kaufman, likely the last people to see George alive. Reports indicate that Jennifer seemed to have grown close to a casino employee, Lloyd Botha, which led to some tension. After a late-night disagreement, Jennifer allegedly kicked George and stormed off, with Botha following her. Later that night, George disappeared, and it was speculated that he may have fallen overboard. Jennifer later reached a $1.1 million settlement with Royal Caribbean in 2007, claiming George could have fallen off the ship, but the Smith family contested the settlement, believing it was an effort to conceal details about Jennifer's behavior on board. They believed they were owed $2.4 million, and Jennifer remarried in 2009 and has since had 2 children. The last case is that of 26-year-old Kevin McGrath. In September of 2023, the U.S. Army veteran and father of 2 mysteriously vanished during a Carnival cruise from Miami to the Bahamas. The cruise was meant to celebrate his father's 60th birthday, but it turned eerie. Kevin was last seen on the ship around 3:30 a.m. on September 4th, returning to the cabin he shared with his twin brother Andre. Andre reported hearing Kevin leave the room between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., the last time anyone heard from him. When Kevin failed to show up for breakfast that morning, his family reported him missing. Despite extensive searches by Carnival staff and the U.S. Coast Guard, no trace of Kevin was found. Notably, the ship's overboard detection system was never triggered, and there was no evidence suggesting he fell into the ocean. At the time of his disappearance, Kevin was on 6 years of supervised probation following a 2022 aggravated assault conviction in Tennessee. He had violated his probation by taking the cruise without authorization, and his probation officer only discovered the violation through media reports. Kevin's former partner, Addison Thomas, believed he was still alive, expressing hope for his safe return. Since that day, no contact has been made and Kevin McGrath remains missing. The ocean holds its secrets well. But for the families left behind seeking answers that they'll never receive, they've got one question in mind. Is this accidental, or was there something more sinister at play for their loved ones to have disappeared? That's the true question. Let us know your comments down below, and remember, stay safe and stay adventurous.